So we'll write first action item and presentation for tonight. With that, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And we'll see none. Thank you for that. Any conflicts of interest we need to disclose? Tonight, we'll see none. Excellent. Citizens appearing before council for items that are not on the agenda. Anybody here for an item that is not on the agenda, please? You know the drill. Come forward. Please state your name and whether you live in the city or not.
My name is Rachel Wind. I live 728 Bennett down by the train station.
Thank you.
For one thing, I'm thrilled to see you talking to the county commissioners tonight. Let me tell you, communication is what it's all about. But tonight I'm here because I'm back on the same thing that I talked about last time, and that was we have a problem with parking on the street where I live. I live right around the corner from the brew pub. And so what I get is the tourists and everybody, they park around the corner because there's not a lot of parking. But what happens is I go to yoga class at night and I come home and I can't park on my street. And there's huge gaps between cars, not big enough to park, but huge. And what I'm begging for, and I begged before, is lines. If we could have lines, that would really help. I'm not saying I need to park right in front of my house, but I would like to park on my block. If I'm bringing home groceries in the evening and I have to park a block away and make 2 or 3 trips for groceries, that's not right. You know, we don't have garages downtown. We can't pull in and park in the garage. We park on the street. Dave used to live right down a couple doors down. He knows what I'm talking about. So it would be a cheap fix, and I think it's worth something to try. It's just annoying when I can't park on my street and there's all these huge gaps. So what would be my next step to have that happen? Instead of just coming and complaining about it, what would I do next to get it to happen? I don't know what the process is. Does anybody have any suggestions on what I would do to get that to happen?
Thank you, Rachel. And this is kind of ironic, but as soon as I saw you, you jogged my memory that we did talk about striping.
Right.
And I was wondering myself where we left it off. So Matt raised his hand, so let's see what he has to that.
I think the easiest answer is I'm going to walk over there with a piece of paper. I'm going to get your address and your phone number, and I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we're going to go look at it.
Great. You want my address right now? 728 Bennett. I've been in Glenwood for 45 years.
Let me get your phone number so I can call you.
970.
You want to broadcast that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have no fear.
And we got 40 seconds left, so this is perfect.
456-6465. My grandfather was a very successful boxer, taught me no fear. So I have no fear. I don't care who calls me.
I will call you tomorrow and we'll go look at it.
Thank you. And what is your name?
Matt Langhorst, Public Works Director.
Okay,
Excellent.
cool.
We figured it out. Thank you so much for being here. Anybody else from the public for items not on the agenda? See none. Councillor Townsley.
Matt, would you dial me in on that too? Because I've had a couple other folks from that same street, so I'd like to go over with you guys when you meet with her. Just let me know whenever that is.
Okay, that works. Any other public comment? Okay, I'll see none. We'll close the public portion for tonight. And we'll get into council announcements. Who has anything? We'll go with Councillor Smith.
I actually wrote them down, but now I have to find where I put them. Historic Preservation Commission met earlier in the week. They're continuing to work on their annual work plan, which is becoming more and more comprehensive. It's actually going to be quite a product, not just a document. They're enthused to actually start bringing proposals to the city. Transportation Commission met on Tuesday. had a presentation about wrapped up planning from somebody who looked familiar. Former Community Development Director Hannah was there in behalf of RAFTA to talk about their planning process. They're developing what essentially is their comprehensive plan over the next year. A subset of that is going to be what they're calling for shorthand the MOVE Phase 2, which is built on the mobility options for vibrant economy, the whole MOVE study that the city have participated in a few years ago. That will focus, among other things, more detailed discussion of the extension of the bus rapid transit route, which has been narrowed down to either Grand Avenue or the Rio Grande Railroad Corridor. So there'll be a lot of that. That part of it's not even going to start for 18 months, but the Transportation Commission is on top of it. It also talked about some traffic reduction options for the South Bridge design. And they've begun to look at the Sanders Ranch proposal that is in the county, but they acknowledge that there's some real potential for traffic impacts for Glenwood Springs. So the commission is going to start following that and may have some observations to share with the planning arms of the city and with city council. RAFTA board met on October 9th. And again, continued their budgeting process for the new year. That will continue in their next meeting, which is coming up actually next week. Develop the guiding principles, and so now we're going to get into real money at next week's meeting. And as was discussed earlier in a different form of this meeting, but worth announcing here, Garfield County has increased its contribution from 0 to $250,000 for the coming year specifically for the Hogback route, the regional route that serves a lot of people from the west end of the county that come to work in Glenwood Springs. So it was kind of a significant thing to help Glenwood Springs. And month of November continues RAFTA's free fare service on all of its buses, regional, local, and all the shuttles except Maroonville. So just get on the bus and go. And that's what I know. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Schecht.
Just a quick one. Ms. Wind is left, and Matt may know, the Financial Advisory Board might end up being the kickoff point for extended downtown study, which would include parking and include DDA and downtown residents and others. So it might be a little slower process than she would wish, but it seems like that is restarting and about to go.
Okay, thank you for that info. Councilor Townsley.
Real quick, Parks and Rec met last night. Two things that came up maybe of interest. Centennial Park came up. Chief was there at the meeting, answered a lot of questions about enforcement, which I think everybody's like, let's put more rules out there. Again, if we do some things, how much help is that going to be? But we talked about alcohol in the park and that being an issue. And I think you're going to hear from Parks and Rec here fairly shortly that they're in favor of making that a non-alcoholic park like we've talked about. So that should be coming. They're going through the process of updating rules and regs for the parks that haven't been done for quite a while, trying to look at that as far as, do we make it over one set of rules for our parks? Do we do different things for different parks? It'll get opened up after some guidance comes out to public comment and whatnot. But if we have anything that we want to get to them, this is the time to do it. So if anybody has specific things, I'm happy to take it back to the meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you. Councilor Weimer.
So I want to just talk super quick about special interest of mine, which is the tobacco use of by minors, right? So we all, for some reason, tobacco use by minors is on the rise, and it's not anything I can fully wrap my head around, but it is what it is, right? And so you think about how this happens, and a lot of it or a big component of it is frankly the ease, the accessibility of tobacco by minors. And so we had a presentation on this about a year ago. I thought the statistics were mind-boggling and upsetting. And I made sure with through our counselor and through city staff that it would be okay to start frankly shaming the realtor or the retailers who are selling tobacco to minors. And so the first one has come up here. And so I just want to give this a little bit of context. So the county, the state, and other boards frequently send minors out into the field to try to buy cigarettes or vape pens or whatever it might be. Just validate that the retailer is going through the correct processes. They're looking IDs, they're making sure that you're of age. Same thing for liquor boards, right? It's not a super complex or surprising that this happens. Occasionally a retailer gets caught. And whether it's part of the culture of that retailer or it was the guy's first day or something in between, frankly, it doesn't matter. And so when these things come up, I think it's super important to shine a light on it, because otherwise, as in this case, it was a fine of $500 and a suspension for 7 days. Those two things go, unnoticed to 99% of us, right? We have no visibility and no awareness that anything of like this has happened. And so on July 27th of this year, Thunder River Market on Highway 82 violated the law by selling a tobacco product to a minor. This was their second violation in 2 years. I'm just driving awareness to folks at home, to folks here in the room, that at least one retailer that we can talk about, Thunder River Market on Highway 82, violated the law and sold tobacco to a minor. You can shrug that off, or you can make some sort of voting decision the next time you're in that vicinity and you need gas or you need a Gatorade, and you choose perhaps to spend your money elsewhere. This will be the last of my shaming for Thunder River, because again, it could have been the guy's first day, but again, the law is the law and ignorance is no excuse. So as these things come up, as these things of what happen, I promise, whether I'm here or not, to help shine lights on these violations. So thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you, Councilor Weimer. Any other announcements? No, I got a quick one. About a month ago, I went to a mayor's dinner, and you guys probably all got wind of that by now, but it was down in Silt, put on by County Commissioner Sampson, and it was a great evening. It was a lot of just throwing ideas out and see what sticks, right? One of those evenings. A couple of good things came out of it. We're going to talk to on our next dinner. We're going to talk to RAFTA, like he mentioned earlier. I think that's going to be a very interesting discussion to see what RAFTA's plan is and how they intend to service all the people with the least amount of money over the next few years. The other thing that came out of it I thought was kind of interesting. It was raised by the mayor of Rifle. An intergovernmental agreement to stop stealing cops from one another. I don't know how far that'll go, but I thought it was an interesting thought. Instead of just constantly raising and throwing more goodies onto the paycheck, can we figure this out so we don't just keep stealing cops from one another? And the other thing that came out of it, and that happened last Monday, was a presentation in front of the commissioners about Southbridge. And personally, I thought it was a positive presentation. Ryan Gordon was there, Mayor Pro Tem, Matt and Richard, legal counsel, and we presented the bridge. And the focus of the presentation was not necessarily the bridge, but it was all the improvements and safety precautions we're taking to fix the intersections on Highway 82. And I thought that was, I had no idea that's part of the bridge project. So just for me to see this, I was impressed. And I'm hoping that our next bridge update will include that, and we can actually see that as council to what we're doing to this intersection. I thought it was very impressive of the plan. But anyway, it was a positive meeting, I felt, and we'll see where it goes from there. So that was my announcement. I think that's it. We're moving on to consent agenda. Entertaining a motion to approve item A through G. And we got Counselor Smith.
I'm glad to move approval of all the items under the listed under the consent agenda because each one of them is timely and straightforward. I'd like to take the opportunity to highlight the item where the city is submitting a letter of support and actually leadership participation for a grant request to the State of Colorado Energy Office. The ad office has a $50 million fund available for accelerating energy efficiencies and energy renewable sources. Glenwood Springs and Carbondale are taking the lead on a coalition of cities that are seeking $5 million of those dollars, in part to help retrofit homes and businesses with efficiency and the renewable measures, and also to seek some straightforward funding for some solar installations for City of Glenwood Springs. So I'm excited about that one in particular, but all of them, I move approval.
Excellent, thank you. Motion, right. Motion to approve. Again, this is for item A through G.
Second motion.
And a second by Counselor Schachter. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Most likely not. I'll ask for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? We'll see none. Thank you. And with that, we're moving into item 7, proclamation honoring Trevor Wooldridge. Trevor's in the audience and I'm going to come up in a second. Just hang tight. I understand the fire department brought this to our attention, so I'm glad you guys are here too. I want you guys to come up too and flank us a little bit to the left and the right. And I was just introduced to Trevor 5-10 minutes ago, and I said, "So you just did it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I jumped right in." I'm like, that is unbelievable. That's heroism and selflessness. That's amazing. So let's meet up here, and I'll read you the proclamation. You guys too. Yes, please, everybody. Excellent. Anywhere you want to stand. There you go. Perfect over here. Perfect. Guys, you look great. Okay, proclamation honoring Trevor Wooldridge. Whereas Trevor Wooldridge, citizen of the Roaring Fork Valley and longtime local, and whereas Trevor Wooldridge, employee of the Conoco gas station on South Glen Avenue, and whereas Trevor Wooldridge performed an extraordinary act of heroism when he came to the rescue of an older gentleman in a time of crisis, and whereas smoke was coming from the gentleman's car directly next to a gas pump and quickly set ablaze, and whereas Trevor Wooldridge, without a moment's hesitation, jumped into action, extinguished the fire, and got the gentleman to safety, keeping the gentleman's injuries to only minimal burns and his hands. And whereas, with the flames under the canopy of the gas station put out, the owner recognized that Trevor Wooldridge's quick action quite possibly saved his store and other patrons from significant damage and harm, and therefore, be it resolved, I, Mark Adame, Mayor of Glenwood Springs in the state of Colorado, do hereby recognize and express our sincere appreciation to Trevor Wooldridge for his heroic deed and service to our community. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Glenwood Springs, Colorado, to be affixed the 6th day of November in the year of 2025. Appreciation. There you go. We also have a whole bunch of Glenwood Springs students for you. There you go. Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
very
doing
much.
that and For being here and all that stuff. Thank you guys as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
That whole thing was a big deal, but I love the part where you single-handedly push the car.
Right? That was awesome.
And since we're back to council, any comments? Push your button. Councillor Smith.
I was impressed with that whole episode because we got to see it on film. But what really came through was single-handedly pushing the car away from the gas pump. That was thinking beyond thinking.
Thank you. Councillor Schmal.
I'd like to thank Trevor's parents or whoever raised him to jump in to take care of that. I watched the video and noticed how many people just kind of stood there looking at smoke coming out from under the hood of that car. And Trevor knew what to do and took action. So that's some good parenting. Thanks.
Good job. Excellent. Any other comments? No, see none. Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. Good luck to you. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. Good stories. Okay, we'll do item H from the consent agenda. Resolution 2025-26, Parks and Recreation Consolidated Fee Schedule for 2026. And I think we received a copy of the fee schedules in front of us, and
Yeah,
Rod
if I-
Rulo is going to
Yeah,
talk to us.
Rodney will walk you through it. We pulled it off because there were a couple of changes to the fee schedule. The online packet has been updated as well, but just because it was different than what was published, we wanted to take action separately on it in case there were any questions.
Sounds good. Thank you for the clarification. Rod, please.
Rod Tarullo, Parks and Recreation Director. Thank you, Mayor. Actually, we pulled it off because we'd like to go through all 90 of these, in
No problem.
size 4 font, just to keep all the optometrists in town in business. Actually, from the original exhibit that you had in your packet, it was brought to our attention that there was one typographical error, and that was on the 6th row. Community center, amenity rental, pool rental, the whole pool, youth sports organization club. The last column is the proposed 2026 fees. Originally, what you had said that hourly fee was $332, when in actuality it's $232. And so we have corrected that and needed to bring that to your attention. And there's 2 other changes that we made as a part of this. In the parks section, under park rentals, field rentals, and parks and recreation facility use permits, we had a question about deposits. And we historically have not included deposits because they give them to us, but then we give it back to them unless there's a reason to hold fees or funds, and we don't know how much that would be until the event has transpired. But just so that and it's clear on the city's website, but in instances where we're renting parks for big events or field use, we do have $1,000 deposit on events that have between 251 and 1,000 people, and a $1,500 deposit on over 1,000 people. And we have added that with this update in those 2 sections close to the end of the document. So those are the corrections. That's what's different than what you may have originally seen. And we needed to clarify that. I'd answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. Should we have any public comment? We probably should, since it's a resolution. Anybody here from the public like to comment on the fee schedule? No, we'll see none. Close the public portion, bring it back to council. Councillor Schachter for a motion.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve the amended 2026 consolidated fee schedule from Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve, and Councillor Townsley.
A second it.
and a second. Any more discussion on our end? See none, call for the question.
It passes 760.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Rod, for all the efforts. Next up is some more rate changes, and this is resolution 2025-25 landfill 426, and we'll start with Matt.
Good evening, council. I would do this sit in my seat, but Liz is here. She's not here very often, so I wanted to drag her up here
And you should.
and kind of go through this presentation that she put together and put all the rates together. So do you want to do this?
Sure. Yeah.
I want to hand it to Liz. Sorry, Liz Morrow, landfill manager.
Hi,
Hi, Liz.
This is Morrow, landfill manager. Thank you. So we just have we're asking for a simple rate increase this year on just our major categories. So these categories make up about 90% of our sales. And yeah, you can see, so the column on the right there would be the new price, which represents a 7% increase. The reason we're asking for this increase is our equipment costs and repair costs do continue to rise significantly every year for every year that I've been here. We have had some changes to regulations that are causing our costs for administrative work, monitoring, reporting, engineering, that sort of thing to go up. We are now officially a Title V landfill, which is actually a big deal. So we are subject to an entirely new set of much more stringent regulations. So that comes with additional engineering costs and reporting costs. So I want to make special note. You all have probably heard of Regulation 31 at this point, maybe. It's a new air regulation on landfill. State is still considering, and they may pass in December. They're likely to pass in December. Any costs that would be associated with that Regulation 31 are not included in this increase. I didn't want to speculate on what they might pass. We're going to wait to see what they actually do pass. And then depending on that, we would come back to you with a request for another increase. So that's the whole presentation.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Questions to staff at this point? And we'll start with Councillor Smith.
Thank you. On that methane regulation that apparently is coming, in a separate discussion a few meetings ago, we talked about the city's climate action plan and how modeling in that plan looked like we had a methane problem. But in reality, because of a lot of the diversion work that you're doing, we might not. Is that going to come into play on whether we get hooked by this new regulation or not?
Let me think of a short way to answer this. So yes, I mean, to answer your question, it's interesting because this new regulation is coming about just at the same time as we are crossing over this threshold into new federal regulations that already existed. So it's kind of weird that we're doing these both at the same time. But actually, because we're doing that, we just did a whole bunch of extra testing and math that's going to give us better information on what our actual methane release rates are. And our engineer is actually just literally working on that right now. So very soon we'll have better estimates on what our methane generation rate is.
Nice.
And yes, previous estimates were estimates. So the next estimate you get will be a more accurate number.
Great. On top of it, as always, thank you. Also, on sorting, on diversion, the rate sheet that you brought inherently has the categories. Are the techniques of actually getting people charging different rates for sorted versus unsorted, charging different rates for brush, charging different rates for concrete working? Can you see tangible effects that these differentials are enough to make people do the sorting?
Yes.
Good.
We have, dozens of conversations every day, most of which are successful and end with people sorting. Yeah.
Great. And as we contemplate a set of rate increases, how do you or any landfill do the calculation of what is the rate that you need to operate versus the rate that's gonna increase illegal dumping because people dodge you? Is that a science or is it just a hope?
I mean, honestly, Steve, that's more of a hope. I mean, we really have to base our rates off of what our operating expense is. So that's what they're based off of. Unfortunately, we do have illegal dumping. And I don't think there's been, I don't know of any scientific study that has looked at exactly what price increases what amount of illegal dumping.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Councillor Small.
Hey, how, have you run these prices by any of your customers yet? Is this out at all? How's it being received if it is?
No, some of the major haulers have asked and we've informally told them this number. But it won't be released publicly unless you all approve it.
And reaction,
Have not received any reaction.
none yet? And how will our rates compare to Pitkin County landfill and Garfield County landfill? Do you know?
Mhm. Pretty similar to everything else. Our prices are about half of what Pitkin counties are for some categories. We're significantly cheaper than Pitkin County, but we're also significantly more expensive than Garfield County. So we're right in the middle.
Which kind of makes sense, huh? Yeah,
It does.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Just real quick, when did we slide into the next category and why?
Around, it's a little iffy on the exact date, but around July this year.
Oh,
And the reason is because we moved into a new section of airspace that was just recently approved. So part of our expansion that we were working on back in 2021 finally got approved and we started filling it. And so the state goes off of, well, it's not the state now, it's the federal government, the EPA goes off of how much space you have permitted. So we crossed the threshold into having 2.5 million tons of space permitted.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so it's based on size.
It's based on size.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Councillor Schacht.
You're gonna make a motion. Do we need public comment for? resolution?
Yep, it's a resolution, so hold tight.
Yeah.
Anybody from the public like to comment on the landfill rate changes for 26? See none, close the public portion, bring it back to us. Councillor Schachter, please.
Sir, regarding resolution 2025-25, resolution for the city council for the setting. There needs to be a slight spelling correction in the resolution we received for setting landfill fees for 2026. I move that we approve.
Okay, great, thank you. Motion to approve, looking for a second. Councillor Townsley.
Second it.
Motion and second. Any discussion on our end? No, see none, I'll call for the question.
It passes 6-0.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Liz.
As soon as we get those methane numbers in, we'll get them to clear and they'll put them into the ECAP.
Sounds great. Thank you, Matt. Ordinance, item 9 on tonight's agenda, 2025-25. Third quarter budget amendment. And that's Yvette.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Yvette Gustad, Finance Director.
Thank you.
What you was in your packet was just we normally do a third or a quarterly budget amendment, just looking at where we are with some things and updating as we need to go, so we're not all surprised at the end of the year. So that's what this is. Is there any questions on what was in the packet?
Thank you, Yvette. Any questions to finance? And we'll start with Councillor Smith.
Thank you. I didn't realize the city gets a share, if I'm reading this right, the city gets a share of the grocery store bag fee.
That is correct.
What do we
We get
do?
like 4 cents a bag for that. And it's actually, as you can see, and
It's real money.
it's real money.
Is it dedicated to a particular purpose in your spending side of the world?
It is not, it's just going, it goes into the general fund.
Good place for it. I see that there's a transfer, if I'm reading the columns right again, there's a transfer from Comprehensive Safety Action Plan carryover to reclassify for transportation demand management expenses. Can you
Yeah.
explain that transition?
So originally, the transportation demand management, the microtransit, got put in projects and it really should have been its own in the TDM program. So we're just moving that money to there and increasing it by what we know we're gonna have left for the year for that micro.
So this is for the vans.
Yes.
Great. And I see there's apparently, if I'm remembering right, there's $362,000 from CDOT for the Highway 6 and 24 devolution.
Mhm.
That's money they're giving Matt to take care of the
Correct.
road.
That's 20 years of maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, we have received that, so.
Does any of that help with the 6 and 24 shared use path, or is it strictly for kind of more maintenance things?
It just has to be spent on roadway projects. So it does have to go to that fund. It does have to be spent on roadway projects, those kinds of fun things. So it's just adding to the revenue for next year. So basically, yes.
Okay, great. Thanks very much, both.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? See none. Thank you. Thanks, Yvette. Anybody from the public like to chime in on the third quarter budget amendment? See none. We'll close the public portion. Back to council entertaining a motion in item 9. Counselor Smith. Oh, you're still on.
Oh.
Do you want to do it?
Oh, sure, I'll do it.
Okay, there you go.
I'll move approval of the quarterly supplemental budget adjustment.
Excellent. We have a motion to approve and looking for a second. Counselor Small.
Second.
And a second. Any more discussion on the amendment? We'll see none. I'll call for the question.
It passes 6-0.
Thank you, Ryan. Item 10, resolution 2025-27, adoption of 2026 budget. And Yvette's still here.
Yvette, again,
That's the big one.
this is the big one.
Yeah.
As you know, over the last couple months, we've had multiple work sessions, and last meeting, we had the public hearing. There was only one comment. We've gotten no other comments. So with that, tonight, we're asking for you to adopt the budget for 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? As many questions as we can find. Any questions to Yvette? No, I'll see none. Thank you. Thanks, Yvette. Anybody from the public would like to comment on the budget adoption? Also see none. Close the public portion, bring it back to us, entertaining a motion. Counselor Townsend.
Thanks for all your work on this. You know, being kind of new to this job, you don't realize how much work goes on behind the scenes on this. So really appreciate it. I move to approve the adoption of the 2026 budget resolution 2025-27.
Excellent. We have a motion to approve and the second, Counselor Small,
I second.
and a second. Any other discussion on our end? Let me get through here. Counselor Schachter, please.
Just fairly quickly, just for public record, tonight's action will seem fairly brief when we're talking about a general fund of $29 million and a total budget in excess of $100 million. This is a multi-month process. This has been heard by Financial Advisory Board and gone over for months, as well as council, as well as staff. So I never wanted to appear that this is being taken lightly or without due process. We have an incredibly healthy city under the circumstances, as attested by awards from our auditor. We have ample reserves, and I just want to reinforce to the public that this is a long, diligent, excellent process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Small.
Thank you, Counselor Shackner, for reminding the public of all of that. It seems like a very simple process here and we just breeze through it. But Yvette does a tremendous job with the rest of staff and under Steve's guidance, getting this budget done responsibly and with a great deal of consideration. All of the staff departments work hard to get their budgets together and to keep them as reasonable as possible. If it looks easy tonight, it's because a lot of work went in to make it look easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? See none, I'll call for the question.
It passes 6-0.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Yvette.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for everything. Budget looks great. Item 11, approve South Bridge Grant Agreement. And we'll start with Ryan Gordon.
Yeah, good evening, Council. Ryan Gordon, City Engineer. So no presentation, but you have the grant agreement in your packet, and I gave you an updated version earlier today, working out some of the details with FHWA and CDOT. So fairly straightforward grant agreement. This came from the United States Department of Transportation and is pretty boilerplate from their perspective. Happy to take questions. Not much else really to talk about it, quite frankly, but what do you guys have?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Carl?
I would just jump in and say that really tonight, there's going to be, obviously there's going to be a little, mostly in the numbers, a little bit of, there may be a couple of changes, just little tweaks here and there. The boilerplate in these is really non-negotiable with the USDOT. So really what we're asking for tonight is approval of the grant contract subject to any final non-substantive revisions reviewed by city manager and city attorney.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Any questions to either? Councilor Shachter, please.
Thank you, Ryan. Just for our sake and public, could you kind of update where this is in the process moving forward in terms of steps that go beyond this?
Sure. Yeah, this is the first major step into getting the grant obligated, which means the money's transferred from the federal government to CDOT and then on to us. So this is a pretty big milestone. The rest of the schedule, let's say for Southbridge, is we're working through right-of-way acquisition, finalizing the environmental portion, and then getting everything kind of reviewed by FHWA and CDOT. So again, from the grant perspective, this is really the big first step into getting those monies obligated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, we'll see none. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks, Carl. Anybody from the public here that would like to comment on the grant agreement for Southbridge? We'll see none. Close the public portion, bring it back to council, entertaining a motion in item 11. Councilor Weimer.
So moved.
Okay, thank you very much. Loud and clear. And I need a second. Councilor Shachter.
Second.
Excellent. Motion and second to approve the Southbridge grant agreement. Any discussion? Councilor Schmal.
Yeah, regardless of what you think about Southbridge or the cost or the financing or any of that stuff, this grant probably has the fewest amount of strings attached to it of any federal grant in the last 30 years.
That is
Okay. That was informative. Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, we'll see none. Then I will call for the question.
We are on a roll, 6-0. It passes.
Excellent. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Well, like I said earlier, all fun things must come to an end. We're already at council comments. for tonight.
I think somebody needs to text Steve.
And see how we
Now that
have
I'm almost done.
3 after 7. You got it? Okay, great. As I always do, I'm gonna call from the inside, from the outside in.
Such a beautiful place as he is.
Councilor Smith, any comments? Councilor Schachter,
I have, one comment.
microphone. Thank you.
Actually, I have two comments. One is I support the clear letter for whatever it was. I supported it for money and cooperating with Carbondale, but I would add, it's my recollection that in earlier council workshop, we talked about agenda items being added by 3 counselors,
Yep.
not 2. I'm not disparaging what happened this time, but just a reminder, that was my recollection. Secondly, just FYI, you generously charged me with doing evaluations of our 3 employees this year, and I will get you forms at or before our next meeting, including a new experience for me was viewing municipal court. So thank you.
That's cool. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Councilor Schachter, any, Councilor Townsley. Please.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a real quick thing that came out of our meeting tonight with the commissioners in the work section. And hopefully, we'll continue to keep this in front of mind, but as you listen to, when I think of Garfield County in years past, when gas and everything was flowing considerably and there was a lot of money and whatnot, I think, man, we must have a county that is just in really, really good shape. And then to hear the reservations they have and how quickly that could fall into the other direction, I think as we look at doing anything where we're spending money and using public funds, Yvette's got us and Steve and everybody else, we're in good shape now, but I hope we keep that in mind looking forward, that as we spend money on this or that, or big projects or little projects, that this may be a time to have a little bit more of a conservative bent than we have in times past. And, watching the county commissioners going, okay, we've got a $9 million shortfall that we've got to cover in the budget. And when you look at the state budget and national budgets, I think that's something we're wise to keep in mind.
Thank you. Maybe my thought quick, if I may, to that. I agree. But I think in our case, we are lucky to have a little bit more of a diverse economy than they do. I mean, from what I understand, they had 2 drivers. They have 2 drivers. One was oil and gas, the other one was the airport. I think if we keep our stores full, or as much as we can, I think it helps to weather the storm. I think it helps to weather the storm. Should there be one. Absolutely. So, thank you. Councilor Small.
Yeah, to follow up on both of those comments, that sort of caution from my perspective has gone into the 2026 budget. The Financial Advisory Board and our city staff recognizes that our tax revenues are trending down for the year already, and that's our lifeblood. So we are taking that into account right now. It could be worse. We're making the best guess possible, I believe. And the city still has needs. The city still has needs that aren't being funded already. So there's no great ride that we're on right now, but it's way better than a lot.
Thank you. Nothing much, just something quick about CML. Ryan asked me to bring it to council comment tonight quick. Since we do not have a council representative that goes to CML, CML asked Ryan to be our representative. And that's all fine. He's willing to do it. He wants to do it. He wants to represent us. Now it gets a little tricky when it comes to policy making decisions. And I'm not sure how we're going to handle this. Should we have a little work session or on the dais talk about?
So I think what I would do, because I sit on the policy committee for other entities. So is the CML policy committee. They make recommendations. It's probably 80 or 90 voting members on the policy committee from various municipalities. They typically, about a week ahead of time, we will get an agenda with a number of issues that we might be looking at, and we as the policy committee make a recommendation to the CML board, who then ultimately makes a decision on whether CML supports or is neutral or opposes bills at the legislature. I think what I'd suggest is that maybe when that comes out, Ryan, just circulate it to council and ask for any comments from you guys. I mean, typically it's pretty obvious where you want to be on these things from a municipal perspective. Honestly, there's only been a handful of times I can remember over a number of years of doing this that I've disagreed with the recommendation of that CML is making on those. But I think that's the easiest way to handle it. And it sounds bigger than it is, I guess, in the sense of saying policy, that this is really talking about taking positions on legislation. And it's making recommendations to the CML board. So it's not the final decision maker.
And it's okay for us to chime in individually and not discuss it on the dais?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm asking for is not that you guys like take a vote on it, but just if you have any of those that are particularly meaningful for you, maybe it's something that we have a conversation about. Unfortunately, the sequencing of that
Yeah.
rarely is such that
Yeah.
it works with a council meeting. So even if it were one of you or Steve or me, you're going to have to exercise some independent judgment on behalf of the city, because there's just not time to get
Right.
all 7 of you together to make a decision on every single one.
Makes sense. Okay. So if
So there's a
everybody's-
policy meeting Wednesday. I'll send the agenda out as soon as I get it.
Yeah, which is usually a few days ahead.
Okay, so if everybody's okay with that, then that's what we'll do. Councilor Schmal.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Ryan making recommendations on what he finds or what's on the agenda to us either. I don't think we should limit him to just being a secretary.
No, and I think that's a fair point. And I think that, the other side of that is highlighting, like, hey, this one could be important to us because of X, right?
A
Right.
Reader's Digest opinion of what you're sending us, I think could be really useful.
Okay, great.
So I grew up in Russia.
So you know Reader's Digest.
Thanks, guys. I think that's it. No other comments. So we'll start city manager. Do we have are you to fill in tonight?
Yes, he is.
I am the fill-in and I have no comments.
That's fantastic. Thank you. And city attorney.
Yeah, I do have one thing. We touched on it briefly at the BOCC meeting. On November 19th is the CWCB hearing and decision-making regarding the Shoshone in-stream flow. A request has been made that we have an elected official at that meeting. A show of, it just matters I'm going to be there for a lot of reasons, but it matters to have the electeds in the room. We want to make sure that the board understands, even though they're making this decision in Denver, that it matters deeply to all of our communities out here on the Western Slope and to have an elected official there. So I think really the question is somebody available? The mayor's looking at me because he's already like,
The mayor pro tem.
I was going to say,
Right.
I mean, I will give the mayor pro tem a lot of credit. She has been kind of our travel
She
person.
covers a lot of ground.
She
Thank
covers
you.
a lot of ground. And
Absolutely.
that was my first thought, just because she seems to like, I'm not suggesting anybody shouldn't do it, but it would be great to have somebody be able to go down. I don't know that I'll be going down from here. I may be over there already for other meetings. But I'm sure we can, assign the city manager to drive whoever it is down to Denver and back.
Where and when?
It is going to be November 19th, and it is going to be at the,
What is that?
it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday, and it's going to be in the I think they're starting in the afternoon. And it's going to be at I can't remember, is it a Westin or a Marriott? The one kind of on the west side of Denver as you're coming in on I-70, the conference center on the left there. I can't remember what the one that was built in the 70s. It's going to be there.
Okay.
So something to
Okay.
think about. If you guys want to just shoot me don't have to make a decision right now, but shoot me an email if you can, or if you're interested.
Maybe just reach out again
Okay.
and say, this is the date, this is the location,
Location,
this is when
yeah.
it starts, and see who
Yeah.
jumps.
Darren cannot do it. I'm a water nerd and I'm glad.
Okay,
Okay.
that would be great. Or, and if more than one of you wants to go, that's fantastic too. And if all of you want to go, that's great. I will notice it as a public meeting. That'd be fantastic.
We'll get a bus from the city,
City,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Carl. Oh, yeah. Counselor Townsley, please.
Carl, one quick question. Was not able to make the meeting Monday for county commissioners, but in watching over it, the piece that came up that I guess I don't know the answer to, and hopefully you or Ryan or somebody can enlighten us more about the annexation process of Southbridge going in over there. And I just don't really have enough information to know what
Yeah,
that works.
yeah, so it was something we hadn't really tagged as something we would necessarily pursue because we can own a road outside of our corporate limits, regardless. The annexation process, the other thing that's a little, it kind of creates this weird, we would have this road that is out in the county that's annexed in, and there's some hesitation always about creating sort of these enclaves based on road right of way that are encircled, county enclaves. And then the other component of annexation now with the city is with the change to the charter, that becomes an election as well, even if it's just for right of way like that. So there's a process we could go through, and potentially after completed the project, we may want to do that. But in the moment, it didn't seem like the right thing to pursue, especially with this kind of enclave issue, because like Holy Cross and a number of those properties are not inside the city. So we literally create this leg of the city going out into the middle of the county.
So is that, I got the feeling from listening to the commissioners, they're like, they brought that up. Are the attorneys talking in the background and this is not?
Yeah, we have talked a little bit in the background about that over the years. And I think it's really, I think the county just wants to be clear that they're not responsible for that long-term maintenance obligation, which I think you heard kind of the reasons tonight, with them talking about contracting revenues. So it's certainly something we're talking about. We're going through what's called the 1041 permitting process that obviously we're not talking about with the county commissioners because they're going to be hearing that. That's really the process to permit that through the county for that purpose. And so we're definitely talking with the county attorney's office as we go through that as well.
So when we get that 1041 and that's approved, we can go ahead with that if that's, of course, everything goes through without an annexation process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Any correspondence?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. I was reminded that I need to talk about VALE, the victim. VALE. Victims Assistance Board. They requested that they could meet via Zoom every time they meet because it's very far and few in between. And and I think we should either talk about it tonight quick and make a decision and let them do it because we don't allow only Zoom meetings from what I understand.
Yeah, we don't really, and that was something I was working on, the remote policy. We never really, post-COVID, we didn't have any of our boards and commissions meeting remotely. So I think it's something, VALE is an interesting board because it is really tough both to get people to participate and they don't meet that often.
Right.
I guess my recommendation would be is if you guys would be willing to allow them to do it, at least for the short term while we work through a policy for everybody, I think that'd be great.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. That's actually a great solution right away. So can I get a motion on that? Councilor Schachter.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I would move that we allow VALE to meet remotely for a temporary period of time until we get advice from council as to whether to change the policy and how to firm it up.
Great, thank you. Any second? Councilor Wyman.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any discussion? Councilor Schmal.
I would like to add a friendly amendment that there be a time specific that this is allowed to go on rather than a depending on someone else.
About 6 months.
How long?
6 months.
6
6
months.
months, that'd be a
extension.
couple of ale meeting.
Okay, amended motion and, no, you don't. Wow, that was a stern look. Amended
Amended
second. Excellent. So so 6 months has been added to the, as a limit, for them. Any other discussion? Call for the question.
We are unanimous tonight.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks, guys, for doing this. They'll appreciate it. Social event location? Council Schachter?
Social event will occur at Docks after the meeting is adjourned.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn this meeting. Councilor Townsley,
Move that we adjourn.
and looking for a second.
Second.
Microphone. Sorry.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?